Grace and Peace from Bishop Michael A. McDaniel, CSI, Critical Scripture Investigator, FBI, Forensic Bible Investigator, and Senior Investigator of Westside Grace Ministries. Rightly Dividing the Word of Truth. 2 Timothy 2:15. The Only Wise Potentate. A detailed theological, logical, exhaustive, analytical, and doctrinal study. The textual foundation. The title, The Only Wise Potentate, finds its clearest Pauline formulation in 1 Timothy 6:15-16, KJV, which in his times he shall show, who is the blessed and only potentate, the King of kings and Lord of lords, who only hath immortality, dwelling in the light which no man can approach unto. The term only wise appears in 1 Timothy 1:17. Now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise God. Romans 16:27. To God only wise be glory through Jesus Christ. Thus, we synthesize the Pauline doxological theology. God is the only potentate, absolute sovereign ruler, and he alone is inherently wise in his sovereign governance. Lexical and grammatical analysis 1. Potentate. Greek, dynastes, dynastes. Meaning, sovereign ruler, absolute authority, one possessing intrinsic power, dynamis. The word appears, Luke 1:52, Acts 8:27, Ethiopian eunuch under Candace. 1 Timothy 6:15. In 1 Timothy 6:15, it is modified by monos, only, makarios, blessed. Thus, he is not merely a ruler among rulers, he is the exclusively sovereign, intrinsically powerful, divinely independent authority. 2. Only. Greek, monos, meaning alone, without peer, exclusively. The exclusivity is ontological, not comparative. God is not the strongest among others, the wisest among others. He is the only one who qualifies. 3. Wise, Greek, sophos, used in Romans 16:27, 1 Timothy 1:17. Divine wisdom is perfectly informed, eternally comprehensive, logically flawless, morally righteous. Paul's doxology is not emotional exaggeration, it is theological precision. And 3. The logical structure of divine potency. A. Sovereignty requires omniscience. If a ruler lacks total knowledge, his rule is flawed. Therefore, limited knowledge equals limited sovereignty. Partial foresight equals partial authority. But Scripture teaches Psalm 147:5. His understanding is infinite. Isaiah 46:10. Declaring the end from the beginning. Thus, the only potentate must also be the only wise. B. Sovereignty requires self-existence. If a ruler depends on another source for existence, he is not ultimate. Exodus 3:14. I am that I am. Acts 17:25. Not worshipped as though he needed anything. God is aseity, self-existent, independent, underived. Therefore, he alone qualifies as potentate in the absolute sense. 4. Doctrinal implications. 1. The doctrine of divine aseity God. Does not derive authority. Does not borrow power. Does not require counsel. Isaiah 40:13. Who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor hath taught him? His wisdom is intrinsic, not acquired. 2. The doctrine of divine immutability. If God's wisdom changed, his rule would fluctuate, his purposes would evolve, his sovereignty would weaken. But, Malachi 3:6, I change not. James 1:17, no variableness. Therefore, the only wise potentate rules with unchanging precision.